Dragon Ball GT has a lot of inconsistencies. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Now, before y'all start typing GT hater detected in the comments, relax for a second because I actually like Dragon Ball GT. But one thing that genuinely annoys me is when people act like GT is somehow this perfectly written masterpiece and say stuff like GT is way more consistent than Super. Like, bro, have we actually watched the same show? Because if we're being real here, GT has some massive inconsistencies that a lot of people either forget about or just ignore completely. And what makes it even funnier is that some people criticize Dragon Ball Super for things GT literally does too. So today, let's actually uncover some of Dragon Ball GT's biggest inconsistencies, because trust me, some of these genuinely make no sense. And the first major inconsistency starts literally in episode 1. How did Pilaf even infiltrate Kami's lookout? Like, genuinely, think about this for a second. Kami's palace is not some random place you can just casually walk into. Back in OG Dragon Ball, access to the lookout was actually a big deal. You either need authorization or someone allowing you in. Bulma reaching the lookout in Dragon Ball makes sense because she's literally Goku's friend and closely connected to everyone. But Pilaf? Bro, how? And before some of y'all bring up Goma from Daima and say, well, Goma reached Kami's place too, the answer there is pretty simple. Magic. Dragon Ball Daima made it pretty clear that magical characters operate differently. But Pilaf? Bro just casually walked in like he owned the place. And Karen didn't stop him? Nobody noticed? That already starts GT on some questionable logic. But speaking of things that don't make sense, let's talk about the Black Star Dragon Balls, because honestly, their existence is super inconsistent. We're told these Dragon Balls existed before the regular Earth Dragon Balls. But hold on, how does that even work? Kami created Earth's Dragon Balls, right? And the normal Dragon Balls are the Red Star ones. So if Kami has the memories of the nameless name key in, why are the Black Star Dragon Balls suddenly a thing that basically nobody ever talked about? And why have they never shown up on the radar? You're telling me Bulma? The same Bulma who can detect Dragon Balls across the planet somehow never knew these existed? And somehow the Pilaf gang knows about them? Bro, what? Like, genuinely, where did this information even come from? This is one of those things where GT introduces a cool idea, but doesn't really explain it properly. And now we gotta talk about something that bugs me a lot. The universe in GT being randomly filled with people stronger than Frieza. Now before y'all misunderstand me, I am not saying strong characters can't exist. Dragon Ball always introduces stronger threats. But hear me out. The original narrative of Dragon Ball Z made it very clear that Frieza was considered the strongest in the universe. He ruled massive portions of the cosmos. People feared him like crazy. Take Legic for example. Bro is literally stronger than Frieza-level characters. And somehow, he even knows about Saiyans. But you're telling me this dude never crossed paths with Frieza? How? And no, before someone says, what about Broly? That's different. Broly was stuck on an uninhabitable dumpster planet in the middle of nowhere. Frieza wouldn't even care about some random useless planet because he focused on planets with value. But Legic? This man is active. And somehow never runs into Frieza? That feels super convenient. And the Mutant Machine Empire makes things even worse. Because now we're talking about an entire civilization of insanely powerful beings that existed before Frieza annexed the Saiyans. Yet somehow Frieza never crossed paths with them either? Bro, how? These dudes literally want to conquer galaxies. They want Dragon Balls. They got warriors like Machi, Lude, Sigma Force, General Rildo. Characters who could one-shot Frieza and even threaten Kai-level beings. And somehow the Emperor of the Universe never noticed any of this? That feels really inconsistent to me. Now let's talk about Super Saiyan 4, because I got some problems. First, how does Goku transform into Golden Great Ape using the Earth? Because from OG Dragon Ball and Z, we know Saiyans transform due to Blitzwaves created through moonlight reflection. Specifically, the sunlight reflecting off the moon. That's what triggers the transformation. So how is Goku suddenly using Earth? Now yes, Dragon Ball sometimes bends rules, but this one personally bugs me. And then there's Pan calming down Goku. Bro what? Great apes are supposed to go completely wild and lose control. The only exception we really saw was Gohan, and even then he's half human. So why is Pan suddenly able to reason with Golden Great Ape Goku again? Cool moment, but consistency-wise, it feels weird. And then we get to Vegeta. Bro, this one genuinely makes no sense. How does he transform into Great Ape without a tail? Because the entire sane biology explanation was that the tail physically reacts first before transformation occurs. The machine only amplifies blood waves. It doesn't grow a tail. And why did he even lose control? Back in the Saiyan saga, he controlled Great Ape like an absolute pro. He was literally talking, strategizing, and fighting normally. So why in GT is Bro suddenly tweaking out? That genuinely makes no sense to me. Now let's talk about the Super 17 arc, because this arc has some genuinely questionable logic. How was a second Android 17 even manufactured in Hell? With what materials? Who's building androids down there? Hell got a secret engineering department now? And why can Trunks sense Android 17's ki? That genuinely confused me because androids traditionally don't emit detectable ki. Now here's another thing that bugs me. Dr. Gero said Android 17 was supposed to surpass everyone, even Cell, but his emotions prevented him from accessing his full potential. Okay, cool. But then explain this. Why is Android 16 stronger than him despite also having emotions? And wasn't Cell literally designed as the perfect android by absorbing 17 and 18? So how exactly was 17 supposed to secretly surpass everyone? Again, this feels super inconsistent. And now we gotta talk about arguably GT's biggest issue, the Shadow Dragons. Now before y'all cook me, I love this concept. Like genuinely. Probably one of the best ideas Dragon Ball has ever had. Consequences for overusing Dragon Balls? That is genius. But the execution though? How did nobody know about negative energy? You're telling me Popo Kami and everyone somehow knew Dragon Balls accumulate dangerous energy? Yet nobody warned anyone? And if it takes 100 years for the Dragon Balls to purge that energy, why are they allowed to use them yearly? Wouldn't the obvious solution just be, yo, maybe don't spam wishes every 5 minutes? And narratively, this kinda hurts Dragon Ball's message too, because originally, Dragon Balls represented hope and rewarding bravery. The heroes slowly stopped relying on them selfishly, but GT suddenly goes, actually these things are universe-destroying time bombs. Now to be fair, I also criticize Super for this, because Bulma using Dragon Balls for literally everything in Superhero is also crazy. She out here using wishes for beauty upgrades. Like, come on. Now, there's another thing about Super Saiyan 4 that personally bugs me. According to GT Perfect Files, Super Saiyan 4 is supposedly the legendary Super Saiyan. And personally, I really don't like this idea. Because ask yourself this, would the Frieza saga even work narratively if Goku wasn't the legendary Super Saiyan? No, that entire moment loses weight. The build-up, the prophecy, Frieza's fear. It all pays off when Goku becomes Super Saiyan. Making Super Saiyan 4, the actual legendary Super Saiyan, honestly diminishes one of Dragon Ball's greatest moments. And personally, I think that kinda disrespects Toriyama's original vision. Now let's talk about Goku's IQ in GT. Because people love criticizing Super Goku for being dumb, but GT Goku literally powers up Super 17 the entire fight when he knows Super 17 absorbs ki blasts. Bro, why are you still shooting? Just throw hands. And the craziest part? Regular Super Saiyan was arguably performing better than Super Saiyan 4 in moments of that fight. Like bro, what are we doing here? Now, after hearing all this, y'all might think I hate GT. No. Not even close. Here's my honest opinion. I actually like Dragon Ball GT, and I think it's genuinely enjoyable, especially if you loved Dragon Ball Z filler and the Z movies, because GT feels heavily connected to that continuity. It has adventure, cool ideas, amazing concepts, and Super Saiyan 4 is still one of the coolest forms ever. But yes, GT absolutely has problems, just like every Dragon Ball series. No Dragon Ball series is perfect. But at the end of the day, they all capture that Dragon Ball feeling in their own way. And that's why I love this franchise. What I actually hate, though, GT fanboys. Bro, some of them are miserable. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them genuinely bring up Super or Daima in every conversation just to trash them. And most of the criticism doesn't even make sense because GT literally has the same issues. Like, bro, can we just enjoy Dragon Ball? We're all fans at the end of the day. Why are we acting like rival fan bases inside the same franchise? Dragon Ball fans genuinely hate Dragon Ball more than outsiders sometimes, and that's honestly sad. Now it's time for shoutout time from the previous video. Rathnak2 015 commented, "Bro, will the DBS remake be long-running or seasonal anime? And the remake will most likely be weekly, while Moro arc will probably be seasonal." But yeah, that's about it for today's video. Like the video, subscribe, we're trying to hit 25,000 subscribers. And until next time, take care and see ya.